everything just fell perfectly into place. The Golden State Warriors front office is absolutely cooking right now. Mike Dunleavy Jr., take a bow. The icing on the cake that we've been waiting for has officially arrived. What's going on, everybody? I'm Houston Bo. You're watching Warriors Digest. Before we get into all the news today, specifically Seth Curry joining the Golden State Warriors on a deal that is incredibly unique. We actually saw it with Gary Payton in the 2021-2022 offseason, but cap space is a major issue. Second apron approaching with the salaries on this Warriors roster. So how do we find a way to sign Seth Curry, get him onto this team? We will break that all down today. But I want to remind you guys before we get into that to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell to turn on notifications to never miss out on a video. Folks, we are 3 weeks away from tip-off in Los Angeles against the Lakers on opening night. It is going to be such a blast. And now that we have the roster fully complete, we can take a clear look at exactly what this season is going to look like. Start to break down rotations a little bit. I'll have my NBA standings predictions coming out here very soon. But none of that matters right now. The only thing that matters is the understanding that Seth Curry is a Golden State Warrior, the brother of the greatest shooter that God ever created. Free agent guard Seth Curry, has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Golden State Warriors. Seth and Stephen Curry team up on the Warriors beginning with training camp on Wednesday. So I know what you're thinking. If you were a viewer of the video a couple hours ago when Jonathan Kuminga signed to the team on a 2-year, $48 million deal, I talked about the Seth Curry situation, and I talked about the fact that it was incredibly unlikely that Seth Curry would end up on this team anymore because of the cap issues. Well, guess what? And when I say incredibly unlikely, I meant by the beginning of the season. We said that there was the potential for him to join by November 15th when the waivers are cleared and all that type of stuff, but now we see that he's going to be joining the team for training camp literally tomorrow. How is that possible? Well, Shams broke it down perfectly, as did several other people on Twitter and wherever else you get your news. After signing Kuminga, Horford, and Melton, the Warriors are $2 million below the second apron hard cap. Can't sign Seth Curry because he costs $2.3 million. No space for that. So they bring him in on a camp deal to get acclimated with the expectation that he's cut and re-signed 24 days later. So just as a clear look at this, Seth Curry signs with the Golden State Warriors on a training camp deal, reuniting with Steph Curry on an NBA roster for the first time unless you count 2013 preseason when Seth Curry was with the Warriors for a small stretch of time. It is a cap-friendly depth move to sign to test him in camp with a strong potential that November he would be re-signed after waivers. So exactly how this works is, hey, we don't have the space to sign Seth Curry before that November 15th deadline, or not deadline, but opening day before we can obviously sign him to the team. So what they decide to do is say, hey, Seth, we'll sign, even though you're a veteran in this league who doesn't really deserve to be, I mean, not that you can't sign a veteran to a training camp deal, but just a guy like Seth, it's almost disrespectful at this point, but it's the understanding that, hey, we'll bring you on a training camp deal so you can at least be with the team, be with us throughout training camp. And then the season rolls around. We got to kick you out of the crib for just a little bit, and then once November rolls around, then we'll bring you back to the team. This is interesting for rotation pieces because if we find a rotation that we like throughout the first couple of the weeks of the season and then Seth Curry joins the team, how does that shake things up? Well, I'm not entirely sure that Seth Curry is going to have a very dominant role on this team regardless. There are so many small guards on this roster. Buddy Hield, Moses Moody, Steph Curry, Seth Curry, DeAnthony Melton, Brandin Podziemski, Pat Spencer. There's another person I'm forgetting. Gary Payton, I think I didn't say. How are we going to find space to put all 8 of those guys in the roster? Height is going to be an issue, and before the Jonathan Kuminga signing, I was significantly worried about what this roster was going to look like from a wing and 3 and 4 man perspective because we are significantly underutilized in that position. But now that Kuminga's signed, I feel a lot more confident about that. But here's the deal. This is a good issue to have. We've seen issues in the past where the roster has been underfilled. There's been spaces and gaps for things that we've desperately needed. Well, now you're running into the issue of, hey, Seth Curry, you're a veteran guy who shoots one of the highest three-point shooting percentages in the history of the NBA. Yes, that's Seth Curry, not his brother. And we might not be able to play it. Gary Payton, you've done a lot for this team over the last 5 to 6 years. But sorry, we don't have a spot for you because the younger guys are going to be getting minutes over you. This is a good issue to have It's difficult because, yes, this is one of the main reasons Jonathan Kuminga has been so frustrated and has struggled over the last couple of years, because his position has been so fluid. He's never really been able to say, hey, Johnny, you're going to be a starter for the whole year. There's just been minutes restrictions that have come up and other guys who've needed minutes along the way. And it's been an issue. So you fear a little bit for the fact that what if we don't find a rotation that fully works? Well, I'll tell you this. We've got a lot of rotations to try because we have a lot of guys on the team who are capable of playing legitimate NBA minutes. And Seth Curry officially going to be a Warrior. And if you missed out on it from earlier today, the summer-long stalemate between Jonathan Kuminga and the rest of the Warriors organization fulfilled. 2 years, $48.5 million contract. The deal has a team option designed for the contract to be ripped up and renegotiated next summer. So this means a lot of different things. Specifically, again, if you didn't watch that video from earlier breaking it down, go do that. But Jonathan Kuminga is with the team. He's returning with the expectation that, hey, if you ball out, there's two ways this can go. If you ball out, have an excellent season, things are going really well, you have a position that you like, and we are content with where you're at and the role you're playing with the team. We number one, we will continue to give you heavy minutes and you will contribute to winning a championship this year, right? Number two, things are going really well, but you don't have the role that you want, and we see more value in other people across the league. Then the trade potential becomes an opportunity after that January 15th opening, day trades become available type scenario. It's a win-win. The Jonathan Kuminga situation could not have possibly ended in a better scenario. Yeah, sure, maybe we don't pay him as much money. We have a little bit more cap space. Then Seth Curry can be here, blah, 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 all that type of stuff. But I do think from the perspective of viewing this, looking at the front office, you have to be incredibly content with where all this lined up. Let's take a look at mentally the things that we wanted to have happen legitimately about a week ago. We wanted Al Horford to be on the team. We wanted D'Anthony Melton to be on the team. We wanted Gary Payton to be on the team. We wanted Seth Curry to be on the team. Done. The biggest one, we wanted Jonathan Kuminga to, this is like an A or 5C, A, B. Like there's so many subplots for this entire narrative. But the biggest thing is we wanted that situation resolved before the qualifying offer deadline hit, because we didn't want to get into another limbo where there's another deal coming, blah, 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 all that type of stuff, right? That situation was resolved. It was resolved efficiently in a way where both sides are happy and there's a commitment now to winning basketball towards the beginning of the season. And number three, we still found a way, did the front office, to make that Kuminga deal and also bring in Seth Curry. The optimism that I feel for this upcoming season is at an all-time high. I don't understand how you could be negative at this point in the offseason after what we've seen. Sure, maybe you're not sold on Kuminga. Maybe you think we overpaid for him. Everything we wanted to have happen happened. Did it take forever? Yes, it did. It probably took way longer than it needed to, but that's not on the Warriors front office. That's on Jonathan Kuminga and Aaron Turner. And if you're going to blame somebody, blame Aaron Turner, because I have a full respect for Jonathan Kuminga and the understanding that, hey, he wanted to go out and get a bag, right? And guess what? He still got one. $24.5 million for Jonathan Kuminga, guaranteed for a year, is a heck of a lot of money. I mean, he's putting cash in his pocket for this upcoming season with the expectation that, hey, we will put together a new contract, use it in a sign and trade, and all of a sudden you're dished off to another contender, and we get value pieces back in exchange. We are at a fantastic point right now. It seems truly like everything is falling into place. Literally 2 hours ago, I made a video and said, hey, everything's looking great, but man, it would be super cool if we could get that icing on the cake of Seth Curry joining the team. Literally 2 hours later, I'm filming a different video and I get the notification, Seth Curry coming to the team. Like Shams and Anthony Slater and Dalton Johnson, like there's been so many reports that have come out over the past 72 hours that have been absolutely incredibly positive. And I look at this upcoming season, right? I look at this roster. I look at the starting four, at least that we know we'll have of those four guys. And then I look at this right here. In this roster rotation. And I say, man, where does this put us? Realistically, let's take a step back. The roster's filled. The Jonathan Kuminga drama saga is over. Gary Payton, D'Anthony Melton, Al Horford, Seth Curry, the 4 guys we wanted are here. So now that we have a full understanding of what the roster is going to look like, what does this mean for the Warriors roster? I just want to acknowledge again, all the guys right there that have the stars or the asterisks by them, that was 4 days ago, and we didn't know if any of those guys were going to be on the team. 6 for 6 is the front office in signing those guys, which again, it has to leave a great taste in your mouth moving forward. But where does this put us? Well, there's a few teams that I think will probably have better regular season records. I don't think we have a better regular season record than the Thunder. I don't think we have a better regular season record than the Denver Nuggets. Everybody else in the West, I think we will compete with. I think the 3 seed is probably our ceiling. We'll do a full NBA standings breakdown and prediction here in just a couple of days or weeks, depending on whatever else news drops, because at this point, so much has been happening with Media Day. Training camp is happening. News and headlines just continue to drop and drop and drop. But I look at this roster, and I think I want to go in an 8-man rotation, and it's difficult. Sorry, not an 8-man, a 10-man rotation, and it's difficult because there are guys here that are going to have minutes cut that you'd want to see play. But the depth on this team is just, it's absolutely outstanding. I want Steph Curry, I want D'Anthony Melton, I want Draymond Green, I want Jimmy Butler, I want Al Horford. That's my starting 5. There's no guarantee that D'Anthony Melton will be fully healthy and ready to go on October 21st, but if he is, that's the starting 5 I want. Buddy Hield has to play. He has to play because defensively, when he locks in, he can be very solid, and the 3-point shooting capabilities are better than probably the second best on the team. But now that Seth Curry's here, he'd probably like to have a word about that. Moses Moody has to play. He has to play. Brandin Podziemski, our early draft pick from a couple of years ago, led the league in charges. Fantastic hustle player. 3-point shooting is getting better. He's improved fundamentally, getting smarter as well. He certainly has to play. And then Quinten Post and Jonathan Kuminga, right? There's your 10 guys. I think that's your rotation. I want Gary Payton. I want Seth Curry. I want Guy Santos to play. But when I say my 10-man rotation, I'm saying that from the perspective of, hey, these are the guys that I want to have play on a playoff night. This is a big game basis. It's a, hey, we need our best 10-man rotation. Those are the guys I think we go to. Honestly, there will be nights where I think I would rather have Gary Payton on the floor than Brandin Podziemski. There are nights that I think Steph Curry getting in the game is going to be very important. There are going to be nights where Guy Santos minutes and TJD minutes are going to be heavily missed. Those guys are hustle players. TJD has shown flashes of being a fantastic starting center in this league. Guy Santos talking in Media Day about he was working out off-season in Brazil, working on his fundamentals, getting his 3-point shooting from contest a little bit better. But I think those are the 10 that I want to have on a nightly basis from a, this is a big game, we need to win type of night. But again, that cuts out Gary Payton, Seth Curry, Guy Santos. But the exciting part of all this is the fact that, hey, on any given night, when a guy needs some rest, we have guys that can fill in. It's like if you're a football fan, when you're up 49-0 in the fourth quarter, you want to have those 2s and 3s and 4 guys in your rotation come in and still compete and play their butts off and get minutes. This is a team that might be able to dominate some games, get some younger guys heavy minutes towards the end of games and blowouts, hopefully blowouts that we're on the right side of. And then, of course, the depth on this team is just incredibly important. It was something that we saw towards the end of the season last year that at moments was really good. When we were playing well, we had it. And when we weren't, the injuries started to flesh out a little bit and we struggled. So I think those 6 guys on the bottom of the screen are legitimate NBA role players. And they will probably all struggle to get minutes on this team, which is a great problem to have. It's an incredibly positive thing, but it's also an incredibly negative thing, because if I get to October 21st and then through December and then through January, and Guy Santos, Seth Curry, and Gary Payton aren't getting minutes, I'll be incredibly sad. I will be disappointed. But guess what? If we're winning games, I don't really care. As long as this Warriors team finds a way to scrap out wins on a nightly basis, I will be incredibly content. I cannot believe, truthfully, that Seth Curry and Steph Curry are on the same team. It's genuinely incredible, and you can probably see, I don't know if it's the lights next to me or if it's just the radiation naturally coming off of my face from the joy filled inside of my spirit right now and my soul. But I'm genuinely so excited for this season. Whatever it ends up being, whatever position we end up, whether we're battling for a plan, geez Louise, I hope not again, because I'm so sick and tired of doing that the last 3 years, or we're the number 1 seed. I love Warriors basketball. I love tuning into it, and I love making content for you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. I've been Houston Bo. You guys have been the fans. It's going to be a fun season. As always, go Dubs. Peace.